Hello everyone and happy Friday. I just wanted to jump on here real quick and kind of touch on what I wrote about yesterday in my blog. My blog yesterday was called No Buffer Zone. If you haven't read it yet, you can either find it on my personal page or you can find it on the Boss Babe Brady coaching page, or you can go to bossbabebrady.com so you can find all my other blogs that I've written there too. So if you haven't read it, read it, give me your feedback if you want, good or bad. I'm open to either. But if you haven't read it, I'll just quickly kind of give you a recap about what it was about. It's still talking about my journey through dealing with my grief from losing my mom. I had given myself, I want to say given myself, but I went a year without using any medication or anything to help with my grief. You know, I think I was just kind of moving through life on autopilot because 2 weeks after my mom passed away, we found out we were moving to Louisville. So I guess you can kind of say that the move was my buffer. And just to kind of be clear, buffers can be anything that take your mind away from dealing with any situation. So if you have, like, I'm an anxious eater. So if I feel a lot of anxiety, I eat, I snack. I'm like, what can I give? And also reading, mindless reading. Like, we can use Facebook, social media as buffers because we're using that to take our minds away from whatever it is that we don't want to think about or don't want to deal with. So I guess essentially my move to Louisville was also a buffer because I was focusing on the move. So I wasn't thinking about dealing with the grief of losing my mom because I'm like, okay, well, we've got to move and we've got 18-month-old triplets and we've got so much that we have to do. And after we got settled, still, you know, we were in a different city and I wasn't really fully dealing with it. Now I was still having a lot of crying jags, like where random things would make me cry. I would feel agitated. I would feel frustrated. And I knew that this was grief showing up in my life in different ways because I wasn't dealing with it. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to accept the fact that she was gone. So shortly after her 1-year anniversary, I had went in to speak with my doctor and I was like, okay, I'm like, I keep crying. I feel like that's, you know, like all I'm thinking about. I don't really function as well as I think that I should be. You know, what can we do? So we decided to try a couple different anxiety and depression medications to see if this is something that would help me out. And after a while, we did find a dose that worked for me. So that was amazing at the time because it helped me get up each day, be there for my kids, be there for my husband, friends, family, whoever. But I realize now that that was definitely a buffer. It was a necessity for me at the time, I felt like, because I didn't know how else to deal with it. I didn't know how to process what I was feeling. So about a year ago when I started working with my life coach, you know, slowly along the way, I realized how not dealing with my mom's death was coming up in my life in many ways. And I realized all the different buffers that I was using to not deal with that. Constantly moving around, cleaning the house, reading a book, scrolling through Facebook, using the medication. I was using all of these buffers to not deal, but I realized that I was ready to deal with it and really, truly face it head on. So feeling that I was in a more stable, confident, healthy mind state, I was like, okay, I've got all the tools that I need to really be able to deal and process and live consciously, live fully without anything buffering my feelings, my heart, my thoughts, my mind. I didn't want to be in this foggy headspace, which I kind of felt like the medication was starting to do. I would feel things, but I know in my heart that I wasn't truly feeling them or connecting with people the way that I should. So I made the decision about, I guess it was about a month ago, that I was just going to be done with my medicine. I was like, I am strong enough to be able to deal with this on my own. And I know how to work through my feelings right now. And I want to be able to live life fully, no matter if that's feeling all of the negative emotion, whether I feel really sad one day, whether I feel really happy. And my coach Stacy had said this, and she said, if you don't fully experience the negative emotion, you can't fully experience the joy either. So I want to experience everything, the good and the bad. But one thing I also want to say is that even though I made the decision to stop taking my medication, I want to make sure that I'm clear on the fact that I am still open to anything. If my body doesn't do well without the medication, I am absolutely not against going back on medication. So I'm very sensitive to the fact of knowing that people do need medicine to function and to get through their day because their body does need it. And my body might truly need it down the road. My body may be like, you're okay now, but you're really not going to be okay. So you might need this medicine again. And I'm okay. I'm open to that. This is just me figuring out what works best for me. But I am also very sensitive to the fact that some people do need the medicine. And I'm okay with that too. And this is just part of my journey. And I want to share my journey with everybody. Now, this is typically not something that I would share with other people because I'm very private in the fact that, again, in one of my previous blogs, I wrote about Superwoman Complex. I want people to think that I can do it all, I've got it all together, and I don't need anybody's help, and I'm strong on my own. But wanting to become a life coach, I want everybody to see me, see all the parts of me, that I do have bad days, that I do need help, that I don't always have my stuff together. So that is why I'm being so open and authentic and raw with everyone, because I want you to see what my journey is and how I've gotten to where I am. And okay, so if I thought that this would work and then I realized it didn't, okay, well then what did I do to change that? So I just wanted to share my journey with you all and just kind of clear that up and saying that this is just my journey, that just because I think I don't need medicine may not mean that I might not need medicine or, whatever it is that helps me deal. This is just what works for me. What works for me is not going to be what works for everybody else. But I just wanted to share that with you. So I also just want to say thank you so much for everybody who has read my blogs and has seen my Facebook Lives before and has supported me. All of your support means everything to me, and I truly, truly appreciate it. So thank you very much, and I hope that you all have a good rest of your Friday and a good weekend. Bye.